that's life. That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune when I'm back on top in June. I said that's life.
And we're back.
We're back after a little break.
Little hiatus. It's always tough because we're always so either I'm busy, you're busy, we're both busy. Schedules have to line up to even make this work. So it's tough. It's not like this is our full-time job by any means.
Yeah, I'm glad we're making time to do it though.
Yeah.
Had some good positive feedback and we appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody that listens and plays along at home. We should probably take this opportunity to let people know that we do have a Facebook page and an Instagram page up that you can go check out. And if you guys have, any topics you want covered, we're not saying we're going to get to everything, but if you guys have something you want to hear us talk about, ideas, suggestions, or you want to argue with Matt about his approach on something, feel free. If you disagree with anything that I say, you can just keep that to yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
Or if you want to find the address of where you can send a great bottle of whiskey.
Or a mediocre bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. We won't hate. We won't make fun of you if it sucks. I'll just say that.
Will we be brutally honest if it does? We won't make fun of the person. We'll just let them know. Is that fair?
Maybe all fair. We'll tell them that the bottle sucked.
Maybe if you do send a bottle.
Because we don't want to discourage. We don't want to discourage people from being intimidated that their bottle might suck. So we won't do anything on air about slamming a bottle that sucks.
Well, what about Justin? Justin sent us each a bottle. Justin Cush, and he sent a nice note with it.
He did send a nice note.
At some point, we'll read that note.
Yeah, something along the lines: if it sucks, it's not his fault.
Well, I think it was don't blame him or don't blame Texas. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, but I have not cracked that bottle open yet. I will say that.
Yeah, we'll save it for a week or two.
So, what have you been up to in the shop?
Oh, I've had some interesting ones. I think we had chatted offline about a RAV4 that I had in the shop that we were doing some. It really ties in with what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks about the budget system stuff. We had a car come in. We had done a system for the customer in his vehicle, and he brought me his wife's RAV4 because he was totally happy with what we did in his truck. He had taken the RAV4 to somebody else, and they did the system in it, and it just wasn't up to their standards. And especially since we set a pretty high bar with his truck. And so he had brought it in at one point, and his biggest complaint was that there was no bass. And I look at it, and they basically took one of those little 8-inch underseat cast aluminum subwoofer things with the amplifier built in, and they put it under the floor in the hatch of the RAV4. And it's just wasn't doing anything like to the factory system. So for those of you that don't know, there's a wide variety of companies that make this. I think they probably come out of 2 or 3 factories in China, but it's a slim little thing. It's made for a car where you have really small dash speakers, you have a low power system, and it's going to add just a little bit on the bottom end, but it's not I wouldn't consider it anywhere near a solution for an audiophile type system or even a higher end street system. It just doesn't.
And I think
have
in
a lot
most
of
cases, like in an optimum setup for that thing is to fit like underneath one of the seats up front, just because it gets lost in the sauce if you're using it in the back.
Yeah, if it's under the seat, you'll at least get a little of the tactile feel to it, and it'll help. So that's the first thing that I find. And so I was thinking that the car had a processor in it. It had the Alpine, the basic, I can't remember the model number, but the basic Alpine processor. They'd put a little 4-channel in it, a little tiny 4-channel, and they put a very kind of entry level, I don't want to say swap meet brand, but kind of an off brand, a brand that used to be good, got bought by somebody and put out there. And so they put a set of components in the front and a set of coaxes in the rear and interfaced with the factory radio. And so I'd asked the customer, what was the budget for this? And he had given the shop a $2,000 installed budget. And he was expecting to get, it was supposed to be a bro deal or a buddy deal type thing. And I guess the ticket came in a little under $2,000 with install. And we get into this thing. And I think I had sent you a picture, Matt, that it looked like there was 4-gauge power wire run directly to the battery with no fuse. That was, instant, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Oh, this was that car?
Yeah, that car. Ooh. And then we're following the power wire, and I get to there's a big 4-inch grommet on the passenger side of the firewall, and the grommet has been pushed in and is sitting inside the car. So any water that gets splashed up can go right into the car. And so it's just heartbreaking, right? So we were basically, when the car came in, we were going to build a subwoofer box. We were going to build like a JL Stealth box-ish type setup in the rear side with a single 8 or 10 inch woofer, and take out the stuff from the spare tire wall, put in a small amp. And as we got into it, there was obviously other repairs that needed to be, and we were going to tune the processor because the processor hadn't been properly tuned. So we started getting into it. When we found some of the wiring in the passenger kick panel, they basically run 4-gauge in and then split it in the kick panel to the amps in the back and the amps under the seat.
So how did they split it? Because I've seen this done a lot of different ways. Was it a fun way or was it a normal way? I
mean, it was like a little Stinger distribution block that was just kind of shoved. And
so it wasn't like a 4-gauge like stripped back and then they made like an electrical tape ball.
No,
like a
not like a 4-gauge ring terminal on each side with a bolt through it or something taped in duct tape. No, it wasn't quite that bad. But so it was kind of weird because it was stuffed under the sill plate, not in the kick panel. And we're like, that seems kind of weird. So we decided, we're going to put the fuse in at the battery. We'll just run new wire down to that kick panel area. And that'll be, kind of our patch fix. And what we ended up finding is that there's a insulation cover, and they did mount a fuse holder, but it was like 24 inches from the battery and it was hidden under a cover to where if the fuse blew, nobody would know it was there.
Right.
Which just seemed really, really odd. So just, one thing after another. And then we got into it. And from a tuning standpoint, the part that was really throwing off the sound in the car is that the car had factory all pass filters on the front stage, up kind of higher. It wasn't down low, but they set delays on top of the all pass filters and it just sounded scrambled. So we got all that stuff dialed, went through all the inputs, got it sounding significantly better. We also swapped the tweeters out. It had some, I was actually intrigued that the factory had a tweeter in the dash location and not the standard Toyota 2 3/4 twiddler. It actually had a tweeter up there from the factory. They reused those plates, but they put this like obnoxious, we keep talking about using tweeters on axis versus off axis and some speakers that are notoriously bright. Well, this had a metal dome tweeter firing right at the glass. And it was definitely bright when it came in. So we put one of our large format home audio silk dome tweeters in, firing off the glass, and got it dialed in. And, it sounded really good. We built a little box in the back. And
sounds like the moral to this story is the guy spent more money than he would have if you just kind of enhanced his budget or increased his budget a little bit. And for him to do it the right way the first time.
Yeah, I mean, again, so yeah, he would have spent the same amount of money he ended up spending, but we would have been able to do a better job. It would have been
right.
Even though we patched everything back together and made it safe, we made a mount for the processor and the amplifier under the passenger seat were, I think, double stuck tape to the carpet, which is on top of a vent, and like it wasn't.
I've never understood that when people use like. You've seen like Velcro or something to carpet.
Yep.
Where they stick the sticky side to the carpet, and you're just like, it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah, I've seen them where they just use the one side and it actually grabs a little bit into the carpet. But yeah, so kind of a, that's the stuff we see, and I feel bad because if we would have had that budget from step one, we could have even done higher performance than what we had there.
So here's a little tech tip. And goes to a question of how do you mount your amps under the seat? Is
Oh,
there a certain practice? Like if you're mounting amps underneath the seat, is there a certain practice that you always do? Like what's your mounting system like? How are
so
you fastening it to the car?
it depends on the vehicle, but like in the Tundra system that we do, we have two versions of our amp racks for those, and it basically goes underneath the rear seat bolts and then comes forward and bolts to a factory mounting hole, or on the passenger side version, it mounts to the factory amp bracket. And we do them out of ABS in our less expensive systems, and we do them out of either aluminum or steel in our more expensive systems. Or if the customer is heavy into off-road, we'll do the aluminum or the steel depending on what they want.
Say there's like no factory mounting points where there's anything underneath the car. So say it's just like, let's just call it a RAV4.
Yeah,
Right?
well, in that one,
that was a car you were just doing.
Yeah, we were just doing, so that one we actually did an ABS rack that mounted underneath the seat mounting locations. We were able to do it on that and still have room. There's times where I would say that our quick and easy for us, which it's not my favorite way of doing it, but there's times where we'll take 1/2-inch Sintra, which is it's an expanded PVC plastic, and we'll put a board of that plastic underneath the carpet, and we'll silicone it down to the floor and then screw into it. I would say that's our bare minimum, lowest quality level.
I think what I was getting at is anytime that I think a lot of people could use this technique, because what I hate seeing is when people literally screw down to the floorboard, even if there's nothing there, you just shouldn't do it.
Real quick, let's explain to the guys at home why putting screws through, even if they're sheet metal screws down through the floor, is not a great idea. There's a couple of reasons. One, when you break through that metal of the floor, you're getting moisture from the underside. You will get some rust around those holes. If that amp ever needs to be pulled out, the chances of going through carpet and carpet padding and then getting back into those same holes is slim and none. I would say that I have some guys, or know some guys, that will put threaded inserts like a rivet nut into the floor, and you can find those. Still not my favorite way of doing it. I'd rather not puncture the floor underneath there, just from the corrosion standpoint. And I'm in California. We don't have the crazy weather that you guys do. So sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Just
all good notes there. But I think one of the best ways that I think anyone going forward as like a standard to not physically lag bolts or screws through the floorboard is if you do exactly kind of what you were saying, but instead of doing the silicone, just take like hush mat or whatever your sound treatment material is, and you basically sound treat that board and make it a part of the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So now you have a base layer of, it could be 3/4 PVC, it could be 1/2 inch, whatever you need to be safe. And then you can put the carpet back on top. And then now you can just lag your amp directly to that PVC, which is, it's not moving. It ain't going anywhere. Directly to that. So I think that's a good common practice that a lot of installers who right now listening are currently lagging with, sheet metal screws or whatever. I've always found that way to work good if you need to affix something to a certain location, in which, using seat bolts or common mounting points is very, very difficult.
Right. The other thing too is, instead of silicone, the other adhesive that we use a lot at the shop is goop, or E6000, and it's a contact adhesive that's a little runnier than silicone, but if you need to take it off, it's kind of stretchy, like spray contact adhesive would be. And you can kind of roll it off the backside of a panel. It's a little easier to remove than silicone is. It's a little less permanent. And the goop is thicker. The E6000 is a little thinner.
Yeah. So I think what sparked that whole little segue, or, that little thing we just went into, is when you typically see shops do installs on, I mean, it could be any car, but really the cheaper, the $2,000 full systems,
right?
How they're doing the fuse holders, how they're doing the amps, all of that stuff becomes like, just set it and forget it. Let's rail some screws through something to mount something. And You can. There's still easy ways to do things that are time saving that are clean.
Right.
So
Right. And again, every job has its acceptable quality level. Not every car needs a powder coated, plasma cut steel amp rack to mount the amp. As much
or
as
steel
we would love
speaker
to.
adapters, speaker
Oh
baffles.
gosh, you should see the ones I've been helping
I saw.
out. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We just did some 3/8 plate steel on the last ones. I don't know which ones you saw, but we've been doing a lot of heavy metal speaker adapters lately.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got that fired up today with some Gladen 6.5s, Aerospace 6.5s, and there's no resonance to the speaker
No,
adapter.
I wouldn't think so.
It is amazing. A 1-inch PVC spacer on top of 3/8 steel.
Speaking of resonance, car I just finished was the Model S. He just picked it up. It got shipped back to New Mexico.
Oh wow!
So It just made it all the way back to New Mexico. Super happy with it. But generally, the Model S is a resonance factory. That thing sucks. It's the cheapest built Tesla out there. All the panels in it, and these are really speaking about the early Model S. So like 2018 and before it's like an old GM, like Corvette mid 80s to like 94, where it's just like plastic welded, thin, just crappy plastic. And in that car, generally, I'll do the sub in like the left or the right side of the trunk. And in this one, I just wanted to kind of eliminate that. And I wanted to get a lot out of the Utopia M10 that we used. So I ended up putting the amps up top, and then I did the sub in the storage compartment in the bottom, just because it's like really just compressed in a carpeted area. So any resonance kind of gets filtered out rather than where it's sitting up top and it's like directly sitting against a panel that you can barely sound treat because there's weight constraints with the motor that comes up with the rear lift gate. But that thing sounded really good. It was probably the least resonance I've ever had in a Model S, because generally that's the big holdback with that car is, the front doors and any kind of sub in the back. You just get a lot of resonance, and you can only sound treat so much in the back because of that lift gate. It uses a motorized lift gate, and if you put too much sound treatment in that back lift gate, it'll hit the top when it stops, and all the weight, it almost thinks you're trying to push it back down because of all the torque weight. So it'll start coming back down again. That job was kind of cool. Always had the idea of trying to figure out a compartment to put like their charging cable, because any Tesla that I ever do, the charging cable is like, you always have to search for it. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. Tesla doesn't even have, you think Tesla would have a little compartment that's made for that cable.
Right.
But they don't. They just have this little bag that's thrown wherever in the car. And of course, that sub doesn't need that much airspace. So I kind of stacked an enclosure in the back and stacked a compartment that basically held the cable. And I had like this, stealth little door that kind of kept the same design of the trunk. It was like a 3D looking trunk panel that like hid into that. So you just pull off the thing, and there's the charging cable there at the bottom. And if you saw the picture, there's like I rastered the Tesla T into the Alcantara suede, and it had like the little charging logo there. So, you kind of, it looks like it's built for that cable.
Yeah, it's super clean. Check out Matt's Instagram or Facebook page for more pictures.
Yeah, I still got to post that. I haven't posted those pictures yet, but
where
they'll get
did
up
I
soon.
see it? Did you text it to me, or did you post it somewhere?
Yeah, I texted it to you, but I've not posted the finished like build log or anything like that. Dude, I've been so behind on life. I thought it was a great idea to do a podcast, which
it's a terrible idea. Why'd you let us do this?
Oh my God, it's so tough. And I just got back on vacation, so had a great little weekend.
That's awesome. Awesome.
So demo tracks.
Yes, we are so happy to introduce a concept we've been talking about for a while, and that is the Old Fashioned Car Audio podcast playlist, which is available on Spotify. We will put the links to it on the Facebook and the Instagram page, and probably in the description for this episode. And what we're going to do is we're basically each week we're going to bring up a song that Matt and I use when we're listening, evaluating a system, when we're tuning, when we're just things we're looking for, and music we like to hear. And we're just going to kind of build that out as a playlist, and we'll each add a song each week, and we'll let you guys follow along, and you can download them or listen to them and tell us what you think. And
I think possibly in future episodes, we'll probably get each person we have on to give us one song that we can add to the list. Yeah. And this will go on for a while because there's so many different songs for so many different nuances or different things. So yeah, we'll kind of spread it out and make it last as long as possible. But there's many, many, many tracks.
so are you ready? Do you have yours, or are you going to have to mentally go through your list and pick?
No, I'll start. I mean,
that over because
I'll start. I mean, there's probably a good 5 or 6 tracks that I use on every car when I first start evaluating, like, imaging, where the center is, how wide the stage is, things of that nature. I literally go through 5 songs in a row, but I guess we'll start with one.
For the record, I am pushing Matt to only keep it to one, because the first time we started talking about this, we just went on and we're like, oh, you got to hear this, you got to hear that. So trying to pace ourselves.
So the first song, and it's not necessarily always the first song I play, but it's a good song that really, it lets you define center very quickly. It shows you the depth, it shows you the width very easily. And it's something that I always convey to a client to talk about soundstage, because if you've never heard the song before, you can sit in a car or in a room and quickly understand how many people are actually present in the band and where they're standing in relationship with each other. So that song would be Livingston Taylor, Isn't She Lovely? And the reason I like it is because it starts off with him whistling, the whole Isn't She Lovely beat. And a whistle is very defining, right? Because it hits those frequencies in which you can immediately tell where something is. So finding out center in literally 2 seconds of starting the song is very easy. And then there's a guitar to the left and right of him as he's singing, and they harmonize throughout the whole song. They each have their own solo, so you can really, again, define kind of the width and all of that within the song. And the song also really shows the dynamics of his voice, right? It's recorded really well. You can really hear a lot of just the depth of his voice as he gets into singing that you really don't hear in a lot of other different recordings. So it's just, again, it's a song that really provokes realism. Again, on a good audio system, when you hear a whistle, that's a lot of times a hard noise to kind of recreate without distortion. And it also is something that if it's done right and there's a lot of realism to the car's setup, you're like, wow, that sounds like a real fucking whistle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's really easy for a system to come across harsh if it's not tuned properly. And that song definitely points it out. It's obvious whether you've got it right or not.
Right. So I will stop today, which is that track.
That's good. It's an awesome song. It's definitely on my list. Yeah. I am all for it. So here's the crazy one. I'm terrible with names, and I'm probably going to butcher the name of the band because I don't know. I've never heard of them previous to this. This is a song that was suggested to me by Spotify, and I just happened to click on it, and just instantly it was one of those songs where you're like, wow, not only is this recorded really well, it's a fun song to listen to. I really struggle with the overly well produced music that is great to display an audio system and point stuff out, but it's not what you want to listen to driving down the freeway. You know what I mean? Like there's kind of those two categories of, well, there's lots of categories, but there's just that music that's, you know, everything I don't want to say everything Sheffield Labs has ever done, but there's all these companies that record these great recordings, but it's not what I'm really into type of thing. So this song came on and I instantly was like, wow, that's really cool. And so I went and kind of looked up to see who they were, what they were. And it turns out this album was recorded in 2011. The group is called The Gadabouts. And again, never heard of them, but their lead singer is Edie Brickell. So the song is called Devil's Story. And it just instantly has this crazy drum beat to it that the second it comes on, you know where the bass is in the car and whether the woofer and the mid basses are blended together. And if it comes through in the front of the car, it also lets you know if you've tuned a little too much. You know, Matt and I both, I think, tune a little heavy on the mid bass and try to anchor it up front. And this lets you know if you pushed a little too much. It's also really good for finding resonances in the front of the car. Like if you're, you know, I use tone sweeps and tone generators to find resonances, but this song you can put on and it's got so much information up there. But a really good song and just fun to listen to. So that's
funny.
my first one.
And I think when we start getting into some of these demo tracks, like I have certain tracks that I'm like, I know that's going to be hot at 800. Just like so many different tracks where, you know, if you play it, yeah, and a lot of songs will get resonance in this part of the song of a Billie Eilish song. You know, this is going to give me resonance in almost any car. Let's play it and see how it happens.
Yep. See how bad it is or where it is. So there you go. We'll get both of those on the playlist. We'll get the playlist onto the Facebook and the Instagram page and let you guys take a listen, see what you think.
And I guess now we'll have Ray on to continue this conversation about $3,500 system design. He has no idea what this is even about.
Yeah, so we reached out to Ray West to kind of join in the conversation from the last couple of weeks to get his kind of opinion on what he would do, and we sat down with him, and we'll get right into that.
Yeah, he's another shop that does, based on where they're located, they do a lot of high-end projects, but they also have, I think, a lot of random 12-volt stuff. So it's a good person, and he's a good tech person to really answer this question, because I'm sure he does a lot of high end, and you got to think kind of hard to hit that budget if you're used to doing a lot of high end. So we'll see what he says.
Yep, sounds good. Hey, I just hit record because we're just doing this
right away, just like that.
Yeah. We have given Ray zero prep.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
So I just got off the phone with you, Gary, and you were saying today was not bueno, no bueno today.
So I have a very, very old Volkswagen bus, a 55, which I wanted to make look original and be very reliable since day one. That's been my goal. I've had it for a little over a year. So we put disc brakes on it, and I got a fuel injected motor for it and that kind of stuff. And I've been fighting with some issues of old car stuff, including, putting the fuel injected motor in and then having to pull the motor back out to replace the gas tank because it kept clogging up fuel filters, fighting all this stuff. And I had clogged up the fuel injectors a few times. It started running like it was clogged up fuel injectors again. Start pulling it apart, take it to the guy I got the stuff from. He put new injectors in it, put it all back together, and it never ran right after that again. And I've been babying it for, I don't know, it's been going on for like 2 months. I haven't had much time the last 2 months to really work on it. So we worked on it a little bit last night, work on it today, just trying to figure it out. And after all of that, I spent probably 8 or 9 hours on it today, and I just got it to run right. And the issue was one little tiny seal in the pressure regulator inside the throttle body unit. And after all that, it's literally like a 0 cent part. I mean, I put a new fuel pump on it. I did all this stuff to like, hey, let's just eliminate stuff. I don't care.
Yeah.
And all of that, it's one stupid little
Shotgun
that
parts.
was, so it still needs to be all put back together, but just firing it up and watching it run and instead of it trying to keep adding fuel and maxing out, now it's trying to cut fuel back out of the program, that's exactly where we need to be. So it's
Fun.
it feels good, even though I got my ass kicked all day.
So, how's Tennessee, Ray?
It's fantastic.
How's Titan going? And if maybe we should introduce him. We have
Probably a
Ray
good
West
idea.
on from
Hello, hello.
Titan Motoring in Tennessee.
Do we just jump right into it?
Yeah. Yeah, let's get right
I'm
into
here
it.
for a reason, I'm sure.
You really are. So Matt and I did an episode that is, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to fall in line with that, but we did an episode and we started talking about kind of budget systems and we've always wanted to help consumers kind of use this podcast to help guide their trip into car audio and into high-end audio. And we wanted to kind of put values to what we do and how we put a system together and what we prioritize.
Yep, dollars for donuts. Okay.
Yeah. And although we get some bigger budget stuff, I still feel like there's a lot more customers that are spending less than there are that are spending more.
Sure.
And so we got into an episode where we, went back and forth and talked through some ideas. And then we decided to just stop and kind of reach out, and we wanted more perspective on just kind of system ideology. The budget that we had for this is not a lot of money to do a system. And we understand that
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of restraints. And so I have a spreadsheet open. We kind of want to just talk through this. We don't want to lead you too much. We just kind of want to hear what you have to say. What we've kind of come up with is that we're not really caring about the cost of an interface. Like, we're not going to say specifically it has to be this car. You can either pick something you're familiar with or just kind of what you see as an average customer at your shop.
Yeah, we've been kind of going off a non-European car.
Okay.
Just to make it easier with the budget.
Yep. It could be a hot rod. It could be a Civic. It could be anything you want it to be.
Right. Gotcha.
The price restraint that we've put is $3,500.
Okay.
Parts, labor, installed. And we've given the general consensus that this is your 98% of your customers that walk in the door and say, I want it louder. I want it to sound better. I listen to all types of music, every customer ever type stuff. And you've got to try to get them something that sounds good and also possibly keep in mind that there may be a second stage to this upgrade later on. This is the budget for today.
Yep.
And you want to get them as much enjoyment out of that $3,500.
Perfect. Got it. I'm ready.
Okay. It sounds like he's already got it designed in his head.
It's a perfect dollar amount. So
okay.
That's exactly where I put a lot of people.
Okay.
No doubt about it. Yep.
Okay. So you got $3,500. What's your go-to?
Go-to is going to be, now, you want actual part numbers? Or actual product that's going in it?
Yeah.
Or just a dollar amount for a certain
We're going to put this down. We're going to let people know what you know.
Ooh.
And if you don't know the part number off the top of your head, if you say, hey, this brand, it's, the mid-level, this, and I can look it up, I can get a MSRP price and that kind of stuff and kind of make sure we hit those numbers.
Have both of you already done this?
We just had Bing on. So Bing is on the episode before you. We asked him the same question.
Okay.
The episode after you will be Justin Cush. We had him on for an episode. We threw him out the same questions. So you're going to be right there in the middle. Gary and I talked about it, but the fun part about the whole project here is that you're trying to see where each installer finds the biggest value in a typical setup, right?
Yeah.
And when you have these constraints, you really start having to prioritize what's important and what's going to give you the best return on your investment. So it's really cool to see the different ideas of where people lean to create this $3,500 system, right?
Sure.
So obviously, in my opinion, and not to lead you too much, but this is going to be like a 1-day install. So you're roughly going to have around $1,000 of labor tied into the project. But again, you can distribute the labor however you'd like, make it however long you want, but it's really fun to see how the system comes together.
Yeah, if you have Ray West magic and you can do $2,000 of labor and a $1,000 of equipment and get it to sound the way you want it to, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
No comment. So for me, it's the best set of front speakers that you can do with power and processing. Have both of you already done this?
Oh yeah, we've actually done this a couple of times. And I can help research or part numbers and that kind of stuff if you want me to. If you have something in mind you want to guide me to.
Yeah, so I found this a bit challenging to hit the mark. I know Bing did too. Gary jumped all over it because he's always trying to find value in different product. I think Bing and I, our basic system is always a little bit more than this from the entry level standpoint.
I would typically do a speaker set, and we'll have to see exactly how these dollars line up. But yeah, I mean, for me, this would be Alpine Type R type price range in the front with a basic set of coax in the back, ran off the radio with a mini 6-channel DSP and a 5-channel. That's what I would do.
You're thinking Alpine Type R coax in the rear?
No, like Type S coax in the back. Should be 130, something like that.
It's funny. I think the first speaker set I threw out was the Type R as well.
You did. You know, the funny part is, like, I'm sitting here, like, right? Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I never use Alpine speakers. Not that I don't like them. They're not my go-tos. Were you saying processor and amp, or are you doing something integrated?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, like a Helix DSP Mini. Should be 600 retail. R-A90S should be their 6-channel Alpine.
$599 for the amp. You guys, while I'm doing this, you want to quickly figure out what you think wiring is going to cost?
I mean, 4-gauge copper kit with 6 channels of interconnect should be sub $200, I would say.
Okay, so I have Helix Mini processor, $600. Alpine R90S 6-channel amp, $599. Alpine Type R components in the front, $299. Type S coax in the rear, $99. $200 for wire puts us at $1,800 already.
Yeah.
Need a sub.
Are we going to add a sub or leave sub out for now?
You need a sub. Everyone needs a sub.
You have a go-to. I mean, something. I assume with what we got left, I feel this is like the game show where, like, you have to, like, pull things off the shelf, and you're like, you've got $82 left. You have $1,703 to cover sub, enclosure, and labor. If we're wrapping it up there, I guess that's actually more. What does that? Let me make sure my math is all right here.
And we did a 5-channel, right?
Yep, 6-channel.
6-channel, but
6-channel, yeah.
Yeah, that amp's pretty cool. I really like the way they set it up. Yeah, I mean that's a decent amount of stuff. I don't want to make any comments yet.
So Matt. Front's active, and the rear's off the radio.
Yep.
And something like a W310 bridged on the back half.
And what do you do for a box? You have something prefab you put it in?
I don't do any prefabricated enclosures.
Really? None?
0.
Wow. Impressive.
I should for this experiment.
No preloaded boxes or anything like that at all, huh?
Nope.
Okay, so
Matt, do you do preloaded enclosures?
I personally don't. No.
Well, not on your side, but I'm sure the other
Yeah,
side.
on the sound effects side.
Retail
Yeah, we
side,
have
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Okay, so sub is $299. What's a basic enclosure? Your most basic enclosure.
It kind of killed my budget.
I know. I know.
I mean, $300.
Yeah, I was gonna say those Halo prefab boxes are looking pretty good right
Yep.
here.
Yep, no doubt.
Okay, so again, even with that, so we have the Helix Mini at $600, the Alpine R90S 6-channel amp at $599, the Type R components $299, and you were going to run those off of 4 channels so that we have time alignment and DSP of the mid range and the tweeters. Matthew,
Mhm. You running a passive, Matt?
What's that?
You running a passive?
We got into a big argument about it where
Some people,
I run everything personally active on everything that I do. But in the case of this, I feel like leaving the back off the factory radio and not having them time aligned, and the way that I do rear speakers is different than most people. I generally run the timeline, the rear is about 8-9 milliseconds on the back, high pass them at about 300 hertz or so, and it's just really adding a sense of space to the vehicle. Well, in this case, where you're running them off the radio, you're not getting the time alignment, which is going to kind of make everything kind of a little bit screwy, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, you can always fade it. There's a lot of other different things that you can do. You can always attenuate it to where it's not even making a big
Could have 10 times the
impact.
power in the front.
Could, yeah. But like I said, the rears just kind of throw me off a bit.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. The other thing, Ray, like,
So you could do rears on this. We could do passive front.
yeah, you can do passive front, and
I
the
could
other
do
thing
a
too,
power
like,
back in there. How much money I got left?
so we have basically 2,400 in product right now, which leaves 1,100 for labor. No sound treatment. There's no sound treatment in there either.
Yep. If I squeeze something.
The other thing too. Well, I don't want to lead too much. I'll let Ray work through this.
If I do a sub in a preloaded enclosure, I would add a power pack, run the rear end mono on channel 7, still be active in the front, and I low pass my rears, Matt. Low. You said high pass.
You low pass them?
For sure. I low pass them at about 4K.
What's the reason for that?
I don't want that high frequency intensity from behind me. It's high enough to still make the room bigger,
Mm-hmm.
but not draw anything towards the back for me anyway.
Not draw it to the passenger rear when that's the only thing you're almost on axis
Or,
with.
The Tundra door with the tweeter right behind your head.
Yeah. I know that one. Hey, check this out. Alpine Halo SB12V ported single 12 subwoofer enclosure, $319.
Perfect. We're doing that one.
Matches right in, saves us some money. And again, this is always something that a customer could come back and upgrade, and you can do a custom box later. And,
They have power and processing.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other wrinkle is trying to do something where it's upgradable to where you're not trying to, or you're not having to like replace the amp or anything like that.
Ray, I was just thinking it would be kind of cool if they had, well, I guess in this scenario we're thinking factory radio, but I was thinking like old school Alpine sound processor with AI net when you'd have to switch like whether the RCA was an in or an out, and those types of scenarios.
Mhm.
Where if you could send the output of the Helix processor back into the radio to amplify it and send it to the rear so you could process it. The other thing too, Matt, is in some of these scenarios where we do, well, let me catch Ray up. My system was no rear speakers at all. And if we had to, we would leave. I have a lot of customers that come in and they don't want rear speakers completely eliminated. They have kids, something to the effect where if somebody's in the back of the
the car or truck. They want to have sound back there, but they're okay having just a front stage for them daily driving. And in which case the delays and time alignment and all the DSP processing isn't a huge deal. We fade it to the front, tune it, and then if they need to, they can fade it to the back.
Don't get me wrong. If we run out of budget, the rears are the first thing to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it. We're going to do sound prep. We're going to have a subwoofer, and we're going to have processing.
What's your minimum to do sound treatment on the front doors, material wise?
$169 is material and labor.
Per door?
It's $100 for the pair of doors and material.
Okay. That's, I mean, this is looking pretty darn good. I want to say it's the best one I've seen so far, but it's pretty darn good. 600 for the Helix Mini, 600 for the Alpine R90S, 299 for the Type R front components, Alpine Type S coax in the rear, a power pack at $199, wiring at $200, an Alpine Halo enclosure for the single ported 12, $319, $169 for the sound treatment. It's $24.84, leaves $1,016 for labor, and
It's perfecto.
right on target.
Would you install that for $1,000?
Yeah, you could get it done in a day. And a day's labor is about $1,000.
Yeah, I mean, there's labor rates are all over the board, all over
Yep.
the place, but
I
I got to
think
figure
it's- I think it's something that should be average for most
Mhm.
people. Should be about it.
yeah, I mean, I don't see that's not a hey, we're making all sorts of elaborate mounts for fuses at the battery and that type of
Right.
thing. We're not doing anything fancy
We're
here.
going to mount fuse holder. So
I mean, it would be a full
not-
day for someone,
to be
but
aluminum.
you could get it done in a day.
no doubt. So upgrades from here.
Yeah, why not? Let's talk about it.
First upgrade, better speakers.
Yeah.
In the front.
Yeah, and that's something that you can that's a pill you can easily swallow. Just
Yep.
taking the $299 hit or whatever the Alpine Type Rs are. You know, it's not like you're really having to replace an amp or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good kind of builder system, and even with all the
I mean, you can do it in Wranglers, you can do it in Civics, you can do it in F-150s. I mean,
yeah. The
Yeah.
other cool thing I like about with like that type of setup is that 6-channel becomes really versatile, and that if you were, let's say that they came back and they wanted more bass and you were going to add a second one of those Halo enclosures, which is kind of cool because they do bolt together, you could add a subwoofer amp and then you could always bridge that 6-channel to get some real manly power on the mid basses and the front doors, or go 3-way.
it's enough stereo for sure.
Yeah.
On the back half. That's a ton of power.
Well, that was easy.
That was quick.
Sorry.
No, that's called efficiency.
So, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
I've had some practice in that. So, it's a year or two of doing this now.
Yeah.
What you got, Matt?
So I think kind of what I ended up settling at was doing the JLVXI 5-channel, to where initially I would run the front passive and run the rears off of the DSP part of the VXI. Obviously, you power the sub, but the golden part would be you can upgrade to a 2-channel in the future, and you can run the front mid bass off the 2-channel, and then now run your front tweeters and your rears off of the VXI 5-channel and still have that power for the subwoofer.
Right. What is retail on the 5-channel?
It's about $12.99, I believe. $11.99 or $12.99.
Yeah, you're not far off there at 600 on the Helix Mini and 600 on the R90S.
So let's see here. So let's go up 7 DSP is 1,000 retail.
Okay, I'm gonna give you here. We'll just do 2. We'll let Ray do 2.
And the VXI would also offer expandability towards like an optic input if you wanted to add
Right.
some sort of a high res player, a Bluetooth chip, something along those lines to have a digital source, so you don't really have to rely on the factory. Say if it's some sort of a system where there is no Amp Pro or no Mobridge or anything like that, so you can get a nice clean signal in. Obviously, you could always expand to the controller to change different presets. Like I said, I just the preamp output for that processor is just the golden part in the 5-channel, because you could run the fronts off a 2-channel, give the front mid bass a lot of power, amplify the rear and the front
How
in a
many
two-way.
How
Obviously,
many, how many channels of processing is that?
so you'd have 4, 5, and then a preamp out, so 7.
So you
You
the
can
other
process
two,
7 channels. Yeah,
the other 2 channels of processor are done inside the 2-channel.
correct. Yeah,
Oh, and
yeah.
you see them
There's
all.
a preamp output that you're able to DSP through the software.
Huh. It's pretty neat.
That's the one that we've been doing a ton of is the Museway DSP amp.
Yeah.
And they have their M4 is an 8-channel processor, and it has
Cool.
4 channels output, 100 by 4
Yep.
at 4 ohms, and then 4 channels of DSP processed output, which is super bitchin'. Same type of configuration.
And then I think Gary, did you choose the Moscone 1?
I don't know that I ever actually put part numbers to mine. I think we just theoretically.
Yeah, I think we talked about
a
bunch of different product. And
yeah, I love the Moscone 1 series, the 130.4 DSP at having a little more power, and then the 8 channels 16, 17, 1800 bucks full pop retail. Like, it's up there, but it's really configurable, and that's the one where we'll start a lot of systems using the front 4 channels to power mid-range and tweeter, and then we'll bridge 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 into a dual voice coil woofer, and we'll have a system that rocks.
Right.
It's also the super solid foundation to then swap in a bass amp to power the woofer, bridge onto some mid basses, bring the rears back in, or add a 3 into the mix and do a 3-way. There's just a lot of capability with that when you start with that kind of package.
Yeah, I mean, even like an up 7 DSP and ridiculous fronts, I could probably do $1,000 set of fronts if we were doing an up 7 DSP.
What kind of power? I don't do much.
I mean, as long as they're efficient, we're going to pay
bring
70. Bring it up if you want, but that would do front active, rear coaxes, and power a woofer. And
what
only box
what would you put?
What's
what
that?
would you put in the front with that?
I mean, I would do something like Blam Powers, something like that. $600 set of components, same rears, same sub.
Yep. Yeah. If you left that all exactly the same, I mean, you're actually $100 less in equipment.
That's going to be listener dependent, really.
Yeah, I feel that
we want output on the sub, and we're really going to try to beat the crap out of equipment. They need a full 5-channel with separate DSP. If it's if we're not going to be at 11 all the time, 7 DSP for sure.
Yeah, I feel like those are 2 very good systems for 2 slightly different customers.
Yep.
The break the knob off guy for the first one, and the I don't turn it up, I just like the detail.
Right.
On the second one.
Going that second route really limits. I don't know. I guess later, if you wanted more bass, you're going to do a outboard mono.
Mm-hmm.
But for most of my current clients here, that would be just fine. 10 years ago, probably not the case, because everyone wanted, 815.
Some of us still do.
Yeah.
Some deep down inside.
I'm just tired of breaking my cars with,
Matt, what's the most bass you've ever put in a car?
Probably the Escalade, because it was 3 Raven 10s, and it was, each one was on a Moscone Pro 110. I mean, that fucking thing got down. That's probably the most. I've never done any kind of like true SPL. I've always done sound quality. So I've always kind of limited it to whatever,
Was enough.
was enough to kind of keep up with the front stage. And in the case of the Escalade, we did a 88 Utopia M in each front door. Therefore, the 310 Ravens were very sufficient to keep up with that. And the whole reason that we even did the dual 8 mid bass up front is because he said in his last car he had 610 W7s. And I'm like, all right, so I want it to be sound quality. So I wanted to be able to keep up with whatever the front's going to do. So that's why we ended up doing a double front 8 mid bass in the front door. And then we went to the 310 in the back. But like I said, that thing got fucking down. I told Gary he's never used the Raven 10s. I'm not sure if you've ever used them, Ray, but it is a fucking really good subwoofer.
When I saw this, what you put in there, I did a little bit of research. So yeah, they're intriguing for sure.
I have a build that we're just starting to plan out that'll probably happen either late this year or early 2022 when the car's finished getting fabbed. And the Raven's one of the woofers I'm looking at. I was going to ask you, Matt, what kind of enclosure volume did you do? I know you can use them anywhere from like, you did 10s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it works from 1 foot to 3 foot is all, based on power.
I mean, the enclosure was sealed, but generally when I do a sealed enclosure, I'll always build it a little bit, a tad bit bigger above spec, just so it plays a little bit lower. That's kind of the process that I took in that Escalade. But I mean, listening to it, if you were sitting in the driver's seat, you would think that based on the feeling of those lower frequencies, I mean, it played a really, 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 really low. You would have thought they were in a ported enclosure for sure. And I think even, Nick said that when he was on the podcast, like how low those subs played. But the Raven, like I said, is, from what I've experienced in the past, just kind of in a league of its own, because it's still completely tonal while it's giving you the output of like a W7.
And how big was the box? Do you remember?
It's probably like 3.2 cubic feet
for the trio of them.
Correct.
Like
I probably would have done 310s back there too. It's good fit.
Yeah, I have 6 cubic feet to play with, so I'm considering that as an option. We'll see.
In what?
Oh, it's a very custom truck, standard cab, late 40s pickup with I don't want to say a blow through. There's a hole cut in the back wall.
Okay.
ready for action. So I've been playing around with the idea of loading a lot of woofers in the back versus doing a couple woofers ported, and just kind of thinking it all through now. But the Raven's definitely on the list for that.
Cone area is king.
So Ray, at Titan, what's kind of like the bread and butter there? Because I know, and it's funny because when I think about all the different shops in the country, I look at your shop and I find a lot of similarities to the shop that I work at, right? Because we have a lot of employees, a lot of people have different jobs. I feel like our shop is run a lot like a dealership. From the outside, I kind of see your shop the same way, to where it has like a lot of the team members to do different jobs. So like a Ray West can do what he's supposed to do, right? Because the problem is in our industry, like before I would answer the phone, I would like greet people walking in.
Yep.
I'd be doing everything. I'd be fucking cleaning the bathrooms.
Yep.
Whereas now I think you're in a situation in which everyone can do their job. And where I'm at, everyone can do their job.
Yep.
So it makes it a lot more efficient. It gives you a lot more ability to do what you're good at.
Yep.
So seeing the client, I mean, you're in a fucking great location. it seems like that area is booming like crazy.
It is.
You have, I see you do like a lot of, I mean, fuck, you're in Nashville. You have country music stars, you have the Titans, you have all sorts of shit going on over there. So just kind of give me an idea of, I guess, what is your daily grind there at Titan? What's the bread and butter of what you guys are doing?
It's so mixed. It's crazy. On the 12 volt side, it's going to be the systems we just talked about. Up to pretty much, so every 12 volt tech there has a long-term project, whether it's one-off interior or some ridiculous audio job or a restoration. Everyone kind of has something to do if and when, for whatever reason, they don't have a walk-in job, or I don't really walk in, but like add a head and camera and a Wrangler that day. They'll have, some Tahoe with 12 amps and full interior and leather seats and headliner and all that to do. So 5, 6 12 volt techs, 6 12 volt techs. They'll stay busy doing Leo lighting, or it's nonstop for them. They don't know, whether they're going to be doing a bunch of remote starts for our dealerships or doing heated seats and deck 4 amp sub and a Civic. It's
So you guys still do a lot of the regular stuff?
Absolutely.
What about you guys, Matt, on your more retail? I forget how you sound effects.
Yeah, sound effects would be the retail side.
And I mean, it's kind of the same scenario, right? Like you guys are doing.
Right. Yeah. So they do a lot of the in and out stuff, but I mean, Ray's just in a completely different demographic. I mean, they've done, you've done Keith Urban, you've done Taylor Lewan of the Titans, Delaney Walker.
Yep.
You've done
4 or 5 of the Preds. We probably have 8 to 10.
Philip Forsberg of the Predators. You guys have done a lot of like pretty good people's cars for sure.
That's some of it, I mean, wheels, tires, powder coating. It seems like we're the only people.
You did Kane Brown's truck, right?
Yep.
Like
we're the only ones that seem to do caliper breakdown and powder coat in town, because always at any given time there's 3 or 4 cars on jack stands with the calipers taken off. Vinyl. So wrap's a big thing. It's about a week to do a color change. The bay's always loaded and there's always a backlog.
So what I guess I'm getting at is you're not just doing big jobs or large jobs. You're still doing the in and out stuff.
Absolutely.
Of like the 12 volt retail, like heated seats or whatever it is.
Yep. Yeah. Leather guys do 4. I won't say 4. We'll start at 3, 3 to 5 or 6 cars a day. Really depends on what the car is and whether they're doing leather. And so
you guys do a lot of kind of like us. You do a lot of dealership work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, about 60 dealerships.
Yeah. Fucking great area, man.
It's crazy.
Great area that you guys are in. We're in fucking Delaware.
It's all right. It works out. So,
I've been on trips with people, and they're like, "Hey, where are you from?" And I'm like, "Delaware." And they're like,
"What the fuck's in Delaware?"
Literally, somebody on the Orca trip when we went to France, they're like, "So, where are you from?" And I was like, "Delaware." And they're like, "What's Delaware?" Like, legitimately, had no idea that Delaware was even a state.
Yep. Yeah. So my day is mixed between sorting those jobs to which tech it's best suited to, putting out fires, and helping with my brain wherever I can.
Do you still take on your own projects, or are you more managing these days?
I've worked in the Bay in probably 3 years.
Wow.
Yep. I'll tune every once in a while, but that's it. No need. Those guys are better than I ever was. So They're pretty awesome. Pretty good dudes.
Yeah, I feel like you got a nice team over there.
Trying.
Slowly adding to the roster.
It's rough to. Is this all going public record here? It's I mean, you guys know if you get people that are really, really good at what they do and they've been doing it for 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they don't work well with others, but there's definitely, and some of my other coworkers say this, like diva clash, like I'm good at this and I'm good at this and we don't work well together. There's definitely some of that, but for the most part, all those guys, some of them, I mean, 3 or 4 that are there were with me at the store here in Clarksville,
Mm-hmm.
under like one bay, we all work together.
Mm-hmm.
So we've known each other for quite a while.
Do your guys team up on projects much, or is it pretty much one guy, one car, one guy?
Team up if like the 12 volt side of it, no. If it's a restoration, yeah, one of my 12 volt guys, Mo, is a genius with certain aspects of it, but really doesn't dive into fab. The fabrication portion of it would be, a Justin Miguel or the new person that's there. And Mo, it would do, the AC side and the headlights, taillight, and the audio part, and then pass the car off over to Justin or Miguel to get fabrication done.
You said new person that's there.
We have a new person, have a new fabricator, 12 volt tech, rocket scientist, DSP.
Do they have a name?
Technician. He does have a name. Yeah.
Initials?
SM.
Steve Mead came all the way out there.
Man, all the way, yeah. Buddy Steve. Yeah.
Do we get to know or no? It's a top secret.
Soon, I'm sure. Yeah. Yep. I'm sure it'll all come out.
Well, the other tough thing that I've seen is it's really hard to take a chance on people that you see on, Facebook in our industry, because I feel like so much can be fucking hidden behind Facebook.
Yeah,
and then you work with them and it's completely, you're like,
yeah,
oh my God, what the fuck?
Here in Clarksville, I probably had 1,000 guys come through that shop there when we were doing training and all that stuff, and got to see what they actually knew and how they worked. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I'm pretty picky about who I work with.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. I mean, there's, I've worked with people that think they know a lot more than everyone else and they can't gain anything from their coworkers. Dude, it's tough. Again, like, people can hide so much shit from, like, the thing about Facebook is you're showing what people, or you're showing what you want people to see.
Yep.
Yeah. And then when you work with them, it's a completely different aspect.
Yep.
So it's very hard. Like, true help, it's very hard to find in our industry. And, it's very hard for people to, like, move across country to go to another shop without physically seeing what they're able to do or how they work or how they interact with people or their personality.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I'm a firm believer.
It's tough to find good help. And you guys have some, like, really solid people there at Titan for sure.
I'm a firm believer in test the waters for 2-3 weeks, bring them in, pay them how you're going to pay them or whatever they need, and work for 2-3 weeks, see how it goes. It's good for both sides. Like, I don't understand. I was an idiot and moved from California to Tennessee, sight unseen, to step into a store that was a shit show. But I learned a lot, and it launched me to where I am now, really. I mean, as much as that hurts my soul to say, but I'm definitely a better person now
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when you have that adversity, I mean, you're literally learning how to deal with just the worst shit,
Yeah.
right? You know, and adversity shapes people, and adversity and failing and problems is all necessary
Yeah.
to figure out how to do shit correctly.
Yeah, no
Well,
doubt.
and you grow more that way. If you can
If
struggle,
everything's smooth all the time, I mean, you're not learning
growing.
anything. No,
Yeah.
no, you got to fail. Like, are you ever going to run into that issue with your VW again that you did today?
Well, that specific issue, no. Well, I mean, if I were to, I would be
Yeah.
able to diagnose it way faster. I've been saying this a lot lately. I am smarter today than I was yesterday.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Can't
be it.
enjoy a sunny day without a few rainy ones.
Yeah.
Damn.
Perspectives.
So this was easy. I feel like we wrapped this up fairly quickly.
I don't know that I ever put product to it. Should I do it real quick? I mean,
Processing.
I can tell you here. I'm just going to copy this over.
Has every person that you talked to had processing?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of I'm finally to the point where I'm saying their name out loud, and I feel like Matt shrugs every time I say the name Museway, but I really like those Museway amps.
It's funny. Like the last time you mentioned it to Ray, I almost started intervening with your sentiment about talking about Museway, just thinking that you may be part owner of this fucking company.
I am not.
And you're just pumping this shit out to everyone right now listening.
I was talking to Larry about that a couple months ago, and there's 3 amplifiers that do that, if I remember right, where they have a multitude of DSP channels with some powered channels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be
I'm not a fan of the Alpine that's got whatever, it's got 35 watts a channel or something, and it's the 850 or the 650, whatever their entry level processor is. To me, I don't want the power unless it's got balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of, I don't want to product bash. I'm not a fan of small digital amplifiers that have processors in them and have no cojones.
Sure.
I've been screwed, or have poor processing, or
Yeah, I was gonna say
certain processors that have very limited bands when you get into those.
I don't want a processor that doesn't have the horsepower. That's a waste of money.
Yeah. So the Museway, to me, it works really well, and the way we use it is that we use a 6-channel to power front speakers, and we bridge to the doors, and they have a 70 by 6. We bridge it so it's 210 by 2 and it's 70 by 2. We use a couple of really efficient home audio tweeters that we do in a lot of our installs, and we match them with the mid bass that belongs to the customer. Whether that's, we do some Stevens Audio stuff, we do some Focal stuff. We just brought something else in soon that I'm excited about, and so we just kind of do that setup. It just kind of always works for us. If the budget's really tight, we do the 4-channel version, and then we have those extra outputs that we can use and upgrade later. But the 100 watt by 4 version, that's the 8-channel processor, it's like $100 cheaper at retail. And we do that with the 2 ohm Stevens Audio 6-inch mid bass driver, and they're super efficient. And I mean, it's a lot of good sound for the money, for the price. Again, I don't expect it to blow somebody with a $10,000 system away.
Sure.
But when you're in that $3,500 to $4,500 kind of price range of doing a complete system, we match that amp with a small monoblock that's got a level subwoofer level control. We do a ported 10. We either use an ARC Audio or a Type S10 ported, and some sound treatment and real tuning, and you have a really good sounding system that's got some volume to it,
and you can grow from it.
Yeah. Well, I think we did it, and we're just coming in right at an hour too.
It's probably the most efficient podcast we've ever had.
I'm telling you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's what I do, Matt, all day.
solve problems efficiently.
Also walk up and down this hill because we're 2-story and we don't have a way to get from downstairs to upstairs. So I make that trek 63 times a day at least. It's killer.
Keeps you fit.
Yeah, it does.
Good.
Did you tell? 2X.
Gotta tell Philip to build some fucking stairs.
No shit, fire pole or something, dude. Got cut through the concrete floor.
A slide would be pretty cool and good for morale around the shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slide would definitely be fun. Just build Titan like Google. Have all sorts of fun fucking activities.
Fun stands for fucking unnecessary where I'm from,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, I gotta remember that. All right. Well, we thank you very much for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point in the future if we keep doing this. All right. We appreciate it. Appreciate you staying up for us. And yeah,
Good to see your faces.
do it again. Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you in person sometime
Yeah. Come on down.
without a mask on.
Come on down. Cool. All right, guys. Cool.
All right.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Good night. Good night. Bye.